At this moment, I'm coming to you live from Kathmandu, and behind me, what the army is guarding is the Sheetal Niwas. This is the place where the president's residence is, and at this moment, behind these barbed wires and the shadow of the security of the Nepalese army, the whole idea of consensus building, the whole idea of the future of Nepal is being discussed. It's been many hours that we have seen high-profile convoys going in and coming out, but the consensus still eludes as far as the Gen Z-led protest is concerned. Remember, it just took 36 hours for this entire protest led by the young people of Nepal, right from the school children to college goers, young unemployed youth, all of them, years of frustration led to absolute scorching protests which melted away and torched this building as well, which at this moment still is the epicenter of the conversation which is going on the way forward for Nepal. 36 hours to bring a government down, but it has been almost 2.5 days where the discussions are on about what shape will the next steps be. And one of the critical problems is the non-unity, or at least no consensus among the various leaders and their supporters. Just a short while back, there were supporters of Kulman Gising, those who were here protesting as soon as the curfew was relaxed, asking him to be given a prominent place, or him to be made one of the prominent faces in whatever resolution or the way forward for Nepal is. Remember, the Gen Z has been quite impatient, and now with longer the president takes to come to any sort of consensus, their patience is being tested because time is running out. Take a look at what happened right outside this very place just a few moments ago. The road to stability in Nepal is not going to be easy one, even within the Gen Z groups and the people of Nepal. There are factions, those who want their favorite leader to take charge in the interim. Behind me are the supporters of Kulman Gising. Remember, he is in fact one of the person who has been spoken about as someone who could take over as the interim prime minister. Larger consensus is moving towards the former Chief Justice of Nepal, Sushila Karki, but there's his supporters, as soon as the curfew has been relaxed, have come out right here and right outside the President's, office residence. This is the Sheetal Niwas, and as soon as the curfew has been relaxed, these agitated, protesters, supporters of Kulman Gising have all come here asking him to be made the interim prime minister till the time the way forward is decided. They want him to take charge. The army at this moment, in fact, telling them to move out from this place and have taken an aggressive position. This is happening at a time when already there is a lot of frustration as far as the young people are concerned. The Gen Z is concerned about the delay as far as the process forward is concerned. This is a very aggressive and tense situation which has just emerged here in Kathmandu, right outside the president's residence office, right outside the Sheetal Niwas, where even the talks for the way forward have been going on. This tells you how the patience here in Kathmandu is running thin. With my colleague Xavier Ankityagi, NDTV. All right, some important breaking news coming in at this moment on the broadcast. What is the key problem? Why is it that There is no consensus at this moment as far as the various groups are concerned. Why is it that the wait for the interim government or the solution of how to take things forward is eluding at this moment the people, those who are in the talks in Nepal? One key reason is the demand of the protesters of the dissolution of the parliament. They want the parliament to be dissolved, an interim government to be put in place, and then a time frame to be set so that the fresh elections, fresh mandate can be taken here in Nepal. The problem is that at this moment the president doesn't seem to be very inclined as far as the dissolution of the parliament is concerned, and apart from that, both the speakers of both the lower and the upper house in the parliament of Nepal have also said that they do not favor the assembly to be dissolved. My colleague Aditya Rajkol is with me at this moment. Let me go across to him. Aditya, you've been tracking these developments very, very closely. Now, the dissolution of the assembly, to dissolve the assembly, becomes the key issue as far as the road forward is concerned. Otherwise, possibly by the end of the day today, we would have had some sort of announcement, some sort of formula which could have been made public, isn't it?
Well, that's right. As of now, the big demand is the dissolution of the parliament. That's what the main bone of contention really is at this particular stage. We know, of course, that the interim government will be formed. Only time will tell how soon that will happen. It could happen as early as tonight as well. Of course, the big frontrunner is Sushila Karki. And as of now, of course, there is hectic dialogue that is happening between the students, the president, the army chief, and several others at this particular stage. So we'll have to wait and watch how things unfold really at this particular stage. But it's almost imminent that the interim government will be formed under the leadership of Sushila Karki. And the big demand from the Gen Zs is, of course, the dissolution of the parliament, whether that happens or not, because the president is adamant that the dissolution cannot happen at this particular stage. There was another constitutional, question really about former Chief Justice taking a political role, because as per the Article 143, this cannot happen. But there is a special section which says that a special provision can be brought in for the removal of that section, or under the circumstances, the president can also bring in a special provision for instating, the Sushila Karki as the Prime Minister. So hectic parleys and negotiations continue here at this particular stage, but it's almost imminent that the interim government could be formed. What would be the nature, how it would be there, could be clear perhaps by later tonight or tomorrow.
And I think that jostling for to be the face and to be the key players in the future of Nepal is, and their supporters, their expectations is also keeping the country in wait at this moment. As I've been saying, standing here, and just a short while back, there were 2, 3, 4 important convoys of people went inside. Possibly at this moment, they are also under pressure. They understand the longer this goes, the anger of the young people, their patience will run out. Aditya, just a short while back, also spoke to some journalists from Nepal about how and what they see as the way forward. Aditya, stay on with me.
Well, the formation of the interim government here in Nepal is almost imminent. There have been hectic negotiations that have been underway. Sushila Karki, the former Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of Nepal, could be becoming the first female Prime Minister of Nepal. Even though it's an interim government, it's a big, massive mandate that the youth and the Gen Z of Nepal have given her. But the announcement might happen soon. But we have with us a journalist here at the Reporters Club in Kathmandu to help us explain what's happening right now. Prince Mishra, thank you very much for joining us. You've been covering and traveling all across Kathmandu to get people the latest updates.
Of course, Aditya, whatever scenario is going on in Kathmandu, we are so much devastated, and we are also a panic, because the whole country is at the panic moment right now, and we hope that Nepal must go through an interim government right now. Especially you have taken a name like Sushila Karki and Balen Saha. Yeah, Balen Saha is supporting Sushila Karki, and we hope, we wish, let's see, by today, might be President will appoint her as a first Lady Prime Minister of Nepal. Sushila Karki might be going to be first Lady Prime Minister of Nepal.
Constitution has failed, and these parties are trying to set a trap on us by saying constitution should be alive and this constitution should back up. But the constitution doesn't has any provision to do direct election till now. And the main demand was anti-corruption, direct election of prime minister and other ministers. But this constitution doesn't allow it. And to amend the constitution, we should have the persons who were elected by people. If we bring back them, what is the reason to do the protest? Where we end up? We are only in the wars of trap. Everywhere every step we are taking forward, we are in the trap. We are in the trap of this government.
Reporting from Kathmandu, this is Aditya Rajkal for NDTV.
Right, so these were some of the voices of people, those who are keeping a close tab on the developments here. The efforts are on to build consensus, but one very important aspect that cannot be forgotten is what happened on September 9th and before that. Now the police have officially confirmed that the death toll in this phase, or the phase of instability and the revolution, as I've always been saying, revolution is written in the blood of the young. The death toll has gone up to 51. 51 people have died. This also includes civilians. It also includes policemen, and also more than 36 young people, those who were taking part in this protest against the government, their frustration against successive governments and corruption. When the police fired on these young protesters, that has angered a lot of people as well. Remember, this also includes one Indian national, a woman who had come with her husband. We will tell her, get you more details about that in just a short while from now. But Aditya, this is going to be, will of course be one of the bloodiest chapters in the history of Nepal. And this possibly, as I was yesterday and you also witnessed the families today, you spoke to them as well. Their demand is nothing else but justice for those who have been killed in the police action, and of course the protest thereafter.
Well, that's right. We are breaking this sad detail that the final number of those who died in this entire process of protesting and the youth uprising in the last 5 days has now risen to 51. This includes 50 Nepali citizens. 50 Nepali citizens, of course, but also that includes 3 policemen and 47 civilians. Most of them are youngsters who were protesting, who were demanding justice against corruption, against the Nepo kids, and against the entire process of the political elite having a lavish lifestyle but not listening and not doing much for the youth. This entire death toll also includes one Indian national, unfortunately, who was visiting here and was in one of the hotels that were attacked and unfortunately got burn injuries and lost her life. So as of now, of course, it's an unfortunate number, but the families of those who have died here in Nepal are also demanding justice. They're saying that government jobs should be provided to the next of kin, and there should be some financial assistance. And finally, there needs to be justice that needs to be given out to them. What will be the formula of justice? What will be the interim government's first priorities remains to be seen, because remember, this entire protest has been on the plank of anti-corruption. So will they open cases of corruption against top politicians of Nepal? Will they immediately have a time-bound investigation for the killings that happened to really chart out who really was responsible for the brutal massacre of the Nepali citizens who were protesting outside the Nepali parliament and several other such locations. Apart from that, a lot of historical buildings,
yes,
from the parliament to the Supreme Court to the secretariat to a lot of other buildings and ministries are completely gutted and destroyed. So there needs to be an effort now to rebuild and have, as of now, negotiations for a peace and stable Nepal.
That's right. I mean, no doubt about the fact that the anger has burnt a lot of important buildings, and this will take some time before Nepal comes back to its feet completely. And the question remains, I was yesterday at the mortuary where there was a candlelight vigil going on, a tribute to those who died, young people from the age of 19 to less than the age of 30, 35. And their families were saying that will we ever get justice? Will the person who ordered the crackdown, who ordered the firing on young people, will they be brought to justice? And along with that, those who then burned properties, killed others, will they be also brought to justice? That remains the big question if the wounds later have to heal. Aditya spoke to families of few of the victims here in Nepal. Take a look.
Here are victim families who are pleading for justice, who are saying that the new government might come, but what about their loved ones who died in this entire process? Here is one such youth who died, and these are his kids who have been pleading here and family members waiting for justice. इनका क्या नाम था, क्या उम्र थी इनकी?
संतोष विश्वकर्मा फ्रम उदयपुर नेपाल. ओके, वो अस्थायी यहाँ बसोबास काठमांडू में कर रहे थे. उसका थोड़ा छोटा बहुत जॉब करते थे, छोटा मोटा. तो ये छोटे बच्चे को पढ़ा रहे थे, लिखा रहे थे और वाइफ को भी पाल रहे थे. अभी तक वाइफ को जो काम क्या होता है उसको पता भी नहीं है. अभी तक ये बच्चे को बढ़ा रहे थे, ऐसा कंडीशन था. यह जो भी सरकार जो भी लीडर आ जाए, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल फर्स्ट प्रायोरिटी इज इनको देखना चाहिए, राइट. जो उस दिन जो उन्होंने बलिदान दिया, योगदान दिया, तो उसके ऊपर क्या है कि इनका क्या कसूर है, राइट. उसने तो एक देश के लिए लड़ा हुआ है, बट फर्स्ट गवर्नमेंट को देखना चाहिए इनको, राइट. ये कैसे पढ़ेंगे, कैसे लिखेंगे, राइट, और इनको कैसे एजुकेशन देना है, और ये वाइफ क्या स्ट्रगल करेगी, क्या करेगी, उसके लिए जॉब को जो गवर्नमेंट जॉब छोटा मोटा जितना भी उसका जो जितना भी एजुकेशन है उस हिसाब से वो मिलना चाहिए. मेरा ये आह्वान है. और जो भी जितना भी डेथ हुआ, जितना भी अभी घायल है, जितना भी गोली लगा हुआ है, कुछ भी हुआ है, उनके लिए न्याय मिलना चाहिए.
Full support from the victim families towards the Gen Z movement here in Nepal, but they are also demanding justice for the kids, for the family members of them, asking for a government job, asking for financial assistance, and justice to be delivered to the families of the victims who fought for this battle, this youth uprising that has changed the scope of the politics here in Nepal. Reporting from Kathmandu with video journalist Prem Singh, this is Aditya Raj Kaul for NDTV.
While the families are mourning here in Kathmandu and other places in Nepal for the loss of their loved ones, one family in India, in the Delhi NCR region of Ghaziabad, is also mourning. It's a couple, an elderly couple, in fact Ramveer Singh Gola and his wife Rajesh Devi. They travelled to Nepal for the darshan at the Pashupatinath temple. They came here on the 7th of September. On 9th, when the protest turned violent, their hotel was also set on fire. The smoke filled the entire hotel. They were trying to escape from the 4th floor. The husband and wife jumped to try and save themselves. The husband survived. The wife landed on her back with very grave spinal injuries. Post that day, their son says it was almost impossible to track them down. The communication lines were down. They were nowhere to be found. Later, on September 10th, Rajesh Devi passed away at a hospital here in Kathmandu. The body has now been taken back to India, but this is also one of the wounds that will take a long time to heal, as the couple had come for the darshan of the Pashupatinath temple, and now the wife is dead after what happened here in Nepal.
7 तारीख को गए थे और 9 तारीख को हादसा हुआ है, जिसमें मेरे माताजी एक्सपायर हो गए. वो बाय रोड आ रहे हैं और हमें कोई भी एम्बेसी से कोई मदद नहीं मिली थी. वो भी हमारी जानकारी के थ्रू गृह मंत्रालय से किसी से संपर्क में निकले थे, उन्होंने मदद करवाई है, जो वो वापसी आ रहे हैं. ऊपर से गिरी थी मगर पर्दे के थ्रू निकलवाए थे, क्योंकि पूरे उसमें होटल में आग लग गई थी, धुआं था. तो उन्होंने, मेरे पापा ने शीशा तोड़ के मतलब कि जैसे नीचे लटका के उसके बाद उठी हैं. मगर आर्मी वाले उनको साथ, मम्मी पापा को एक साथ नहीं ले गए. वो कहने लगे अलग अलग जाना. तो मम्मी पहले चली गई और पापा पीछे से गए. उस कारण उनको या तो सदमा लग गया, अकेलापन, और फर्स्ट एड भी नहीं मिला. इस कारण वो एक्सपायर हो गए.
The peace in Nepal is quite fragile at this moment. In fact, while we are speaking, since yesterday, though there hasn't been any major incident of violence, but that does come with a caveat. The caveat is that, as soon as the curfew is relaxed, there are people, those who come out to express their sentiments. And till the time consensus is not built or not found, the situation will remain tense. Right at the beginning of the broadcast, we showed you some bulletins of how tense the situation became here. The army had to take a very aggressive posture to try and deter away the protesters. But this situation only tells you one thing: the patience and the time for negotiations is running out. Nobody here in Nepal or anywhere across the world would want any more violence or any kind of frustration being, in fact, spilling onto the streets. The hope is, and that is what the leaders, those who have been, in fact, leading this Gen Z protest, like Army Nepal, Mr. Gurung, they have been saying that by tonight, by midnight, there should be some consensus. If that doesn't happen, tomorrow, once again, the country which is standing on the edge could, in fact, be overthrown from there. And that will once again mean more instability and possible tense situation here in Nepal. As I speak, the curfew I told you earlier is relaxed for a couple of hours, between 5 and 7 local time. So it's about 25 minutes more that people would be able to go about their essential business. After that, it will be once again the army on the streets ensuring there is no more violence here in Kathmandu or any other part of Nepal. It's Ankit Tyagi signing off at this moment. Thank you so much.